Smiling Critters is the most underdeveloped project if we judge by its popularity and the depth of character development. Plus, in Chapter 3, it felt like their story wasn't over yet. The latest leaks about these characters hint that their return in the next chapter is almost inevitable. So today, we're gonna break down this possibility by looking at each member of this wild gang. We're also going to dive into how Catnap became the catalyst for the Bigger Bodies initiative among the Smiling Critters and who suffered the most because of it. And could they actually come back in Chapter 5? We already know exactly what went down with Catnap. And yeah, there's a slim chance he could return, but I'm almost 100% sure there won't be some kind of epic comeback. Now, DogDay, that's a whole different story. We all saw what happened. He got swarmed by a bunch of tiny toys that completely took over his mind. And yeah, we never actually saw him die, but after what went down, the odds of him breaking free from the mini critters' control and surviving, pretty damn low. But what he said before it all went down really got me thinking.
Come to save us. Nothing left to save. Not here. Bird Catnap's home, Angel. Their home. A million pairs of eyes are on you now. Watching, waiting, hungry. They want nothing more than to crawl beneath your skin and eat away at you bit by little bit. Fill what feels empty inside themselves. That thing, Catnap, the prototype is his god, and this is what he does to heretics. These little toys follow Catnap to avoid that very fate, and in return, they are fed. We try to fight it, the prototype's control. I am the last of the Smiling Critters. Listen to me. You need to get out of this place.
DogDay straight up said we were there to save them. And since he 100% knew what Catnap really was, and no one else was shown to us, it's making me more and more sure he was talking about the rest of his crew. Now yeah, you could argue that he meant the ones fighting against the prototype. I mean, he did say he was the last of the Smiling Critters. But at the same time, there's a chance he just doesn't know what actually happened to the others and just assumes he's the last one left. And just to be clear, we're only talking about the Bigger Bodies initiative. Those tiny versions, nobody really cares about them. So I think it makes sense to start with the most relevant Smiling Critter right now, Hoppy Hopscotch. Hoppy's easily the most energetic one in the group. And honestly, that wild energy is probably what got fans thinking about how she might have died in the first place.
I'm Hoppy Hopscotch! Wanna try hopping to the moon with me? On three with me! 1, 2, 3! Heh, didn't get very far, did we? Again! 1, 2, 3! Nope, still didn't make it. Again! Again! Jump! Jump!
But let's be real. Most people noticed we never actually heard any attack sounds or anything like that. They straight up told us that Hoppy loves jumping and ain't scared of heights. So that scream and all that audio distortion at the end, probably just her jumping way too high. But things got way more interesting after Chapter 4 dropped. Cause in Doughy the Doman's story, we actually heard Hoppy on one of the VHS tapes.
I need some help here! Hey, watch the door! Watch the door! Right here. There you go, bud. You're okay. Okay! Look at me! I'm a mess!
Hoppy? What's going on?
We were trying to bring supplies back up to the elevator, but we got jumped. Had to turn all the way back around. They took everything we had, right after one of them bit my leg! So, what do we do now?
For starters, you two stay here tonight. Let things settle down outside. I'll find more food for you to bring up to play care. When you're ready.
Thanks, Joey. Sorry we lost the supplies. It won't happen again.
Now we know that Hoppy was in safe haven and was kinda like a food scout, but at some point something attacked them and injured her partner. Most people are pretty sure it was Prototype. After that, one of the notes straight up said that Hoppy went missing, and this is where things get real interesting. Just because she disappeared doesn't mean she's dead. If we go back to what DogDay said, yeah, he called himself the last one, but now we can see that last doesn't necessarily mean the only survivor. It's pretty hard to say exactly what happened to Hoppy, but for some reason, I'm pretty damn sure Prototype had something to do with it. And even if she's still alive, she's probably stuck in his labs, the same ones we're heading to in Chapter 5. Now let's talk about the rest of them. I think the best way to go about this is to start with the most obvious ones and slowly turn up the heat. KickinChicken was basically the cool guy of the group, always trying to break out of play care. But now let's take a listen to what he had to say.
It's looking pretty bad outside. I've never been outside before. Will you come with me? I'm scared. Here, follow me. I'll step out first.
I don't think this even needs much explaining. It's pretty damn obvious. KickinChicken tried to pull off his plan, but someone took him out. And for some reason, most fans agree that the killer was Catnap. Bubba Fant was the smartest of the critters, and everything about his description backs that up. If he was really that smart, his chances of survival should have been way higher. But if you actually listen to his cardboard...
I'm Bubba Fant. Hey, I remember you. An elephant always remembers. Want to know what I remember about you?
Then it's pretty damn clear this guy didn't make it. I mean, y'all probably figured that out already since I've been talking about him in the past tense. And now it's time to talk about one of the most interesting smiling critters. Trust me, her story's gonna blow your mind. BearHug. Aside from telling y'all that she was the sweetest and most compassionate of the bunch, we're also gonna take a listen to her cardboard.
Hi, I'm BearHug. Want to know how much I love you? I love you to the moon and back. I'm crazy about you. I'm lost without you. I've been lost a long time. Please, take me with you this time. You won't leave me, will you?
And this is the first time we don't hear anything suspicious. Yeah, Bobby is clearly scared of everything going on and doesn't want to be left alone, but there are no screams or disturbing noises on the audio recording. That alone kinda hints that she might still be alive. But that's just the beginning. At some point, we got a description of Experiment 1186, aka BearHug. That's when we found out that Bobby was the first of the smiling critters to go through these kinds of experiments and was actually one of the earliest subjects of the Bigger Bodies initiative. Several hours after awakening, she tried to stand and walk to the other side of the cell but couldn't keep her balance. She looks to be searching for help, continuing to spasm. She's trying to scream, but she has no voice. She's silent. I'm not sure if she knows she's not making any sound. Work will need to be done to perfect the bigger body formula we began with Boxy. Each iteration improves on the former. However, if we're to meet the goals of Dr. Sawyer and produce bigger body subjects that we can integrate into a factory setting, then more work will need to be done. As it stands, Bobby will require further experimentation. If we're to create subject 1188 according to schematics, then each of these smiling critters will prove a good testing ground for ironing out these issues. And judging by what we see in the photo, Bobby really did struggle to support her massive body at first. Since all these experiments were leading up to the creation of Experiment 1188, aka Catnap, it's pretty safe to say that every experiment before him was just a stepping stone in the search for the perfect formula. And considering Bobby was the first of them, it's fair to say that she suffered the most because of Catnap, even if not directly. Taking all of this into account, plus the fact that her cardboard recording doesn't have anything suspicious, there's a real possibility that Bobby just went into hiding somewhere in the factory, waiting to be saved. We can't say for sure that she's still alive, cause in her condition and probably without food, she wouldn't have lasted this long. But hey, there's still a chance, and maybe, just maybe, we'll see her in Chapter 5. Let's not forget about the always hungry Piggy.
Let's eat. Roast beef, delicious. Grilled chicken, down the hatch. Seared elephant, yum. Flayed unicorn, mmm. Still hungry. Hey, what do you say you and I be friends?
This lady never fails to surprise me. But again, we don't hear any suspicious sounds. A lot of people know that pigs are omnivores, and Mob Entertainment really nailed that with Piggy. She's down to eat literally anything, including us, and since she's always hungry, we can guess that going without food would be a real struggle for her. Thinking back to what Doey said about, well, the food situation being non-existent, Piggy's chances of survival drop big time. But since we didn't hear anything bad at the end of her recording, it's totally possible she's still alive, just really weak. And that means there's a solid chance we'll run into her in Chapter 5. Now let's quickly talk about CraftyCorn.
I'm CraftyCorn. Can you help me with my painting? Pass me the blue, please. Thanks. Now, can you give me some red? More red, please. Out? But we can't be out. You're hiding more red from me. I know you are. Give it here! Now that's much better.
We hear static, but then the words keep going, which once again suggests that Hoppy didn't die during that recording. But what really surprised me about CraftyCorn is her insane obsession with red. And yeah, I think it's pretty obvious she's talking about that red gas, the one that basically puts you in a trance. I'm more than sure she's still alive, and honestly, our chances of running into her are some of the highest. The real question is, will she actually be useful to us? Considering her obsession with the red gas, I kinda doubt it. Maybe she'll drop some interesting lore bits, but that's probably it. And man, thinking back on the smiling critters and their wild backstory, how important they could have been to the plot, it just sucks that instead of expanding on them, the devs chose to focus on the nightmare critters, which, let's be real, were a total embarrassment. Drop your thoughts on the smiling critters in the comments, and I'll catch y'all later.